I don't have to tell anyone that Tennessee football hasn't had a great quarter century. It's gotten better here at the end, so that's positive of this 25 years, but it hasn't been great. Let's take a little Vol history lesson by the numbers. I thought this would be interesting. There you go. From 1995 to 1999, leading into this century, 54-8. 54-8, and that includes a disappointing 9-3 in 1999. So 54-8, 87% win percentage, 2 SEC titles, 1 national title. Everyone, and I mean everyone, that includes me, thought this thing was going to keep rolling. You thought you were set. Didn't work out that way. From 2000 to 2008, Philip Fulmer's final 9 seasons dropped to 66% winning percentage, 2 losing seasons in his last 4 years, no titles. Then you go 2009 to 2020, it goes off a cliff. 73-75, you are underwater over that time period. 7 losing seasons, 1 massive NCAA scandal like Tennessee has never seen before. Then the sun rises a little bit. Josh Heupel arrives, and in 2021 it starts to turn. 37-15, 71% winning percentage, went to a major bowl, the Orange Bowl, gotten a playoff bid out of that. But another final comparison here, the last 25 years of the previous century, you won 69% of your games, 200 games. The first 25 years of this century, it's dropped about 10% in terms of your winning percentage. Gentlemen, I will start with Bob and Vince, and we'll get Ollie and Marlon to jump in here because you guys, you weren't born for this entire thing. When were you born?
99.
99? Okay, so you were in there. All right, 99. All right, so, but I'll start with Bob and Vince because you guys were around all this time or followed it all this time. Just the downturn, considering where we were, where this program was, where this city was at the turn of the century. It's hard to imagine that we would have seen ourselves in this spot.
You know, I think it was 100% unexpected because at the early part in the century, you were going to compete for a national championship if you had won a game here and there.
In 01. Yeah.
And then you went into another season ranked in the top 5, maybe number 3 in the country. I mean, it didn't work out that way.
Wound out a losing season, yeah.
You were still there. I think nobody saw that kind of cliff coming. I think if you had had a drift down, that would have been one thing. Okay, you've gone from 10-2 and 9-3 to 8-4 and 7-5. But to do what they did, and I think it was, you know, part of it was at the end of the former era, they just weren't as good. But I also think then you have to go into the ivory towers over at UT and how the end of the former era was handled and go forward. And that's where a lot of your problems came from.
I think if you look at those 10-year stretches, it jumps out how the standard really changed through the years for Tennessee football. The way it was in those first 10 years that you showed leading up to 2000 with the national championship and all the wins and just 8 losses over that stretch of time. And then you get into the 2000s and it was less than that. And it ended it. Now, obviously, you had the former coaching changes, but the standard was so high they didn't meet it. Then you go beyond that and it bottomed out. And now you're praising the success of Josh Heupel getting you back closer to where it was in the middle in the early 2000s, but now it is so much better and viewed very differently because of what came before that. I think has really changed the standards.
Well, another point that I should have put in there that kind of goes with that, you had in the last 15 years of the century, Tennessee won 5 SEC titles. 85, 89, 90, 97, 98. So 5, you haven't won one since.
Right.
That's what's amazing. You haven't won one in the last 27. You had 5 in 15 years. So you were programmed to think, okay, we're up there with the big boys. The only thing I can compare this to, and they're in the same boat, you've climbed out of it a little, they're still in it, is Nebraska. Nebraska was just that dominant, probably a little more dominant. They were winning 2 national titles. But for them to fall off, that's the only real comparison you can make here to what Tennessee. Other teams have had decline. Texas was down for a while. Oklahoma was down for a while. But this prolonged a stretch. And maybe Tennessee's out of it at this point. You had in the middle there, you kind of had a little false hope with Butch Jones. You had 2 9-4 seasons. It looked like, okay, maybe you're going to get out of this thing. Not so much. You played in some of those middle years. You were under Kiffin and Dooley. Thoughts about where the program was. Did you ever feel like, okay, we're getting back, and then no?
It was a lot of inconsistency. It was a time where we literally understood as players you were going to get used to change. I think I had 4 defensive coordinators in 5 years. I had a different position coach every season that I was there. So out of that 5 years, I had a different coach.
Different strength guys, probably.
Different strength guys every year as well. I think we only had one strength coach that was there for 2 years. Other than that, it was in and out the door. So you got used to the revolving door. But for me, I was able to catch that last former class as they came through with that Lane Kiffin year. Yeah. And so you saw the change happening as far as the guys we recruited, guys we brought in the door, what the standard was, the goofy antics and all that. So I saw it change. So I was a part of all those years, unfortunately.
And Ollie, you're the lucky guy.
Yeah.
You experienced the bottom of the nadir, or nadir, however you pronounce it, with Jeremy Pruitt. Mm-hmm. And then you experienced the turnaround with Josh Heupel. Tell me about the flip from one to the other.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made you appreciate the good times for sure, going through such the kind of hardships, I guess, that we had. You know, I was sold on the promise coming in as a recruit to UT that we're going to be part of the class that turns things around. You know, Tennessee's been what it is in the past. And, you know, I know it because I grew up as a kid in this area. Not a lot of fans of Tennessee in the area. They were bandwagon on a bunch of other people when I was in school. So, I mean, as you continue to grow up in this community and want to play for this team, you want to make those changes. And going in there, a lot of the guys that were part of that team had the idea that we want to see different things happen for Tennessee. But just the atmosphere around it, just everything was so down that it made it easier for us to not have those expectations, because as we all know, expectations can sometimes be the death of us. But without those expectations, it felt like we really kind of got the opportunity to look at the groundwork piece of things, and then obviously leaving the scandal that we had with Pruitt and them, leaving us in a bigger hole almost than what we were in to begin, gave a lot of those guys that stuck after that the real kind of groundwork and determination to want to change that thing around for the better.
Very good. All right, I want to end this segment kind of quickly so we can get on with a lot of the other stuff we're doing. I do want to say, however, Sports Source Digital Network, our YouTube channel, you can see a Give Him 6, where John Wilkerson and myself sit down with Ollie Lane and we talk about, he gives us the 6 biggest changes from Josh Heupel, from Jeremy Pruitt to Josh Heupel. It's an excellent show. And then you can see Marlon talk about some of the nonsense he went through. He did a show with John Wilkerson and myself called Give Him 6. You can find the playlist. Go to our YouTube channel, look for Give Him 6. We sit down with Marlon, we talk about the 6 most outrageous moments from the Kiffin and Dooley years. So those are both on the YouTube channel, our Sports Source Digital Network. Go find it there.